You asked for it, and you got it. Yeah, baby, you got it. I'm your Venus, I'm your fire, the Iron Survivor. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE NXT Deadline from the Armory in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Because they only have one Armory in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And they still drew a bigger crowd than Vern Gagne did for the last few AWA shows. Rest in peace, AWA. We hardly knew ye at your height. That being said, you guys wanted a review, so I gave you a review. And by you guys, I mean generally people that talk to me on social media. And I figure, why the hell not? You know what? The show was alright. I still think the Iron Survivor concept is a little bit convoluted. And while I think they've ironed out a few issues, I like the smaller atmosphere. Like, yeah, they toured, they got out of Orlando, and they did I got some issues, but let's move on. Vic Joseph and what used to be Booker T. Now is just a shell of, badly programmed AI bones. I don't know what the fuck Booker is saying. And I would really like for people to defend what the fuck he says on commentary. And if you can figure that out, if you can translate that shit, bless you. So the venue looks great. And we have the men's Iron Survivor Challenge match. The winner gets a shot at New Year's Evil. Maybe I'll review New Year's Evil. I don't know. I'm debating what I'm going to review in 2025, which is coming up just around the river bend. So Javon Evans and Wesley start out. And it's Javon Evans, Wesley, Ethan Page, Nathan Frazier, and a fifth man to be determined because somebody took out Eddie Thorpe. Because, Eddie Thorpe in this match would have definitely perked up interest to watch something else. Bless him. He was Carl Fredericks in New Japan. If he's happy in WWE, that's great. I don't think this Eddie Thorpe character has worked. Nevertheless, Javon and Wes just did flippy shit and cool stuff, and Wes did slow it down. I like the newer look, him cutting his hair down. Javon, when he hits the stuff, he's great. Unfortunately, he was missing a few things. There were some bobbles, some weebles and some wobbles, and they did fall down. It was what it was. I mean, I'm not going to go over every single pinfall, but I will say that Lee did pin Evans, and then Frazier came out next, and he's pulling double duty because he's one half of the tag team champions. What has happened to the NXT tag division? I'll get to that. The penalty box aspect is just, I don't know. So, Ethan Page came out fourth, and he immediately got pinned by Frazier. Now, that was actually kind of cool. I liked that. I did like that. And then Ethan ends up pinning Frazier. But then it's down to who the hell is going to be the fifth man. And then it's Obafemi. And right there is like, okay, we pretty much cemented who the winner was going to be. He just laid into the goddamn people. I mean, they had to double, triple team him. And when a large man, decides he wants to dominate you, you probably are just going to have to accept it. Which I'm not speaking from experience. Let's move on from that. Oba tosses around a few others. I mean, he just cleans house. And we get a cutter that pins Lee. So, okay, that was kind of cool. We're all tied up. But then the double choke slam finish was beautifully done. That's what I'm just going to say. Let's just skip to the finish there. Obafemi hitting the double choke slam and getting 3 points because each pinfall gets a point. Since you pin two guys at the same time, he got that, but he did get hit with a cutter by Evans, but not enough time because people forgot how to, tell time. There's a big clock on the screen. Learn to read it. Anyway, Obafemi is the Iron Survivor. If Obafemi does not beat Trick Williams at New Year's Evil, call him up to the Rumble and just have Oba just tear it up and have him in the mix. Have him be, a mid-card monster to, go on up, build him up. But there's no need to keep him on NXT if he's not going to have a long run with the title. And actually, even if he just has a run until the Raw or the NXT before WrestleMania 41, that's okay. But if he doesn't win the title, you got to call him up. So then we get a Cody Rhodes package to fill time and also for Saturday night's main event. Lexus King, a.k.a. Pillman Jr., is in Minneapolis on the cold streets because he remembers that this is a city where his life changed. And that's where it triggered that I forgot that Bad Blood 97 was actually in Minnesota. I actually forgot that. That was in St. Louis for some reason. But there were elements of truth in this, and then he put it in his own words. And look, this is probably the best promo I've heard from him. You're still trying to, like, polish a turd as far as a wrestler at this point. I just don't think it's going to work. I just don't think so. But that being said, look, I mean, it's terrible that his dad passed away and he went through a whole lot and everything, but I mean, hey, at least Melanie's not alive anymore. That dumb, bitch that robbed all her kids of all that money that they earned and she never did. So, okay. Let's just go to the goddamn, NXT Underground match. Let's go to the women. We get people that are apparently not recruits at all, not NXT recruits. They're banging on the mat and everything. They were just there to be bodies for this particular match. It's Lola Vice and Jada Parker. Their blood feud has gotten so out of control after a brick to the skull at the ECW 2300 show. Jesus Christ. A brick to the skull! Would have been dead. But anyway, a jump start, and they laid shit in. I'll give them that much credit. Lola Vice has MMA background, and Jada apparently used to play soccer, or football, as many people call it in cultured worlds. And after a spinning back fist hit the post, Lola got her hand targeted, and Lola basically she hit the post. She hit the post kind of badly, like she was hitting. She was like she was actually tied to the post at one point. Tied to the post. I'm not gonna finish the rest of that, but you know what the song is. This is not the first time, by the way, that I have seen two women like this tying each other up. Always delete your search history. So the second most vicious fisting from behind I've seen involving two women like this. And look, they did some halfway decent exchanges, and we got a choke out to win it. And then Lola danced on Jada's fallen body and everything. And that's where you need to just rise up and be like, oh hell no, you are not going to dance or twerk. Twerk is a stupid word, by the way, on my body. You're not going to do that. So, a package on Ridge, ending Chase University. Finally, thank fucking Christ, our long nationalist nightmare is over. I mean, national nightmare. Look, nothing against the people in particular, but Chase U is a stupid gimmick. Is it the worst gimmick ever? No, because it's not the Ding Dongs. And it's not most of the shit booked by Russo. But you could have fooled me with how bad Chase U was. It was really bad. Axiom Verge basically tells Frazier, hey, I'll take the lead here. Like he's in Teach Me How to Dance. Wait. Take the Lead was actually the name of the song. Nevertheless, it was the name of the movie. Axiom Verge and Frazier took on Miles Bourne and Tavian Knights. Heights. In the Heights. I'm going to call him In the Heights because it's a lot easier. I did see bits and pieces of his excursion to, I think it was Noah. I think he was part of some tournament. So In the Heights, he has skills. I don't know about Miles Bourne. And I don't know what happened to the NXT tag division. The two large guys that are now called Out the Mud. This tag division needs to be taken out of the mud. And taken behind the goddamn shed like Old Yeller. But yeah, here's the thing. There were parts of this match I didn't mind. Like Axiom having to basically be 2-on-1 and Frazier and him having miscommunications. And that would have worked. Except of the finish. Had there been new tag team champions, this would have worked better, but no. And I'm sorry, you got to build up better teams. Because Frazier, his nose was busted. That's from being taped up earlier in the Iron Survivor Challenge. But we get miscues and we get okay, Axiom's going to take the pin. Maybe they'll try to get a rematch. They won't win. And then we can transition to having them feud. But no. Bourne and In the Heights hit their finish or a finish and don't get the victory, and then a roll-up wins it. What the fuck? Why? I'm sorry, but Axiom and Frazier are not going to get any more over with the fans than they already are. I don't know. So, Trick and Ridge had a match. And fuck you if you think I'm going to watch this. Look, Trick is not bad. He is better with a veteran that can lead him. Ridge, it's not that he can't work. And even if the Big E thing didn't happen, even if that didn't happen, Big E doesn't blame him, and it is what it is. It sucks. It is what it is. It was not malicious. But even if that didn't happen, do not tell me that Ridge Holland deserves to be in any kind of main event program. Later, Trick got his head caught in the goddamn ropes like he's Mick Foley or like he was David Carradine in Bangkok. Nevertheless, he ends up making the Trick shot and winning. I'm sorry, I just didn't care because it's a Ridge Holland match, and they've kind of gone as far as they can with Trick. I'm not saying bury him. I just don't know what else you do. Siren has main event package and then the Gunther package. Ethan's upset. It took him 18 years to win a big title, and now it's taken him 18 years also to realize he doesn't know how to get back there. I'll give him credit. He's making the most of this opportunity, especially after he wasn't utilized all that well in AEW. So, Sarah's with Ava. Then Ava is interrupted by Tiffany, who says, hey, Minneapolis is my hometown. That explains it. And she is, I'm kidding. Tiffany seems, Tiffany at least is invested in this character and actually has tremendous athletic ability. Then basically says, hey, there's a New Year's Evil, or a match for the women's title, New Year's Evil. I could cash in because I missed Money in the Bank. Hands up if you forgot she won the briefcase. I know that they just teased the cash in the Survivor Series, but I keep forgetting she's the briefcase winner. Anyway, the women's Iron Survivor match. Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Zarya, Sol Ruca, and Ren Sinclair. Or, Maddie, I'm watching you, Renkowski, always watching. That's a callback to AEW Dark and Dark Elevation. Renkowski. Okay, let me just say this. This is better than the men's because I feel that it was less bubble-filled. I'm not saying there weren't issues, but there was a story that they told of Ren being not in over her head as far as her ability to, want to learn and get better. But the idea is all these other women are seen in the eyes of fans as better. The fans were invested in Ren and were even cheering for her at some points. And they told the story of her getting beat, eventually getting a point, but not being able to get the victory. But, learning and, taking advantage of situations and getting a chance to win or getting a chance to, sneak out one win. That was fine. Julian Ren starting out, it was what it was. When Soul came out, it got a little more interesting. And that's just, I'm not saying that Ren isn't good, but just Julia is on a whole different goddamn level. Soul was hitting a goddamn cut. She was hitting just all kinds of great shit. It was kind of funny that, it was kind of funny that Ren kept, being like the whipping, the whipped individual here, so to speak. But there was a human centipede of submissions a couple times, and Julia pins Ren, and then Zarya comes in, and I think it's going to take time with Zarya. I think Zarya is going to get lost in the shuffle. I don't think she's bad, but I wonder if maybe they need to have her programmed in mid-card feuds for a bit instead of hot-shotting her into the main event. I wonder if that's going to backfire. Because there's something there, but I think maybe just ease back a little bit. So, the Soul Snatcher to both, but I believe it was Ren and Soul that ended up, or Ren and Julia that spilled to the outside. And Ren basically, she got pinned and then went right back in, which was kind of funny. Zarya does end up, doing some good spots. Ren kept trying, and Soul did this thing I can only describe as basically a springboard handspring, jump dive over the goddamn top. It was incredible. Huge pop, landed on her feet. Considering she came back from like a torn ACL, I'm really concerned she's going to blow out a knee, but bless her for doing that. Stephanie comes out last, stares down Julia, and I would implode if I was within 500 yards of women that attractive. But Zarya hits a huge spear. Seriously, Stephanie, Julia, otherworldly, very talented as well. An F5 pins Julia, or an F5 variation. There was a corner collision just before that where Julia was on Zarya's back. That's not a euphemism, and Vakur got sandwiched. And then we got the leg vice by Stephanie. Fuck me next. God, I would die happy. But Vakur, got a roll up on Ren. And then what we got is we got Ren rolling up Sol near the end. But before that, Sol hit a 450 buckshot lariat, which I wrote down as a back shot because of course I fucking did. But Sol ends up getting pinned. She spends the last little bit in the goddamn penalty box. So she's out of the whole thing. Flash knee. Julia gets the final pin. Vakur can't quite pin her, and there we go. We have the women's Iron Survivor. It's Julia to face Roxanne. She better beat her this time because it would be pointless if she didn't. Because I don't think Roxanne's title reign needs to go on any goddamn longer. She should be called up at the Rumble and build her up for something. Have her fucking beat... Have her win the U.S. title or the Intercontinental title or something. Like, just have the first champion be a veteran. Have it be Bayley winning the U.S. title and then Roxanne beats her. I don't know. But they also had like confetti and streamer stuff and all that for Julia, and that's great. Why did you take all that to fucking Minneapolis for like this celebration? I mean, it is what it is, but really? Fucking really? Seems a bit much unless Julia's going to win. And then Julia better have a run at least until SummerSlam. They need to freshen things up by calling up some women, pushing some more people up, and they do need to build their tag division because it is essentially dead right now. That being said, Deadline was fine. I watched it. It was decent enough. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland. Yeah, the hat. It'll be here for some videos. Anyway, see you soon.